Today we're gonna know about the Newton's laws of motion. What are the laws of motion? Why they are important? And why it is so important that it is considered as the base for the physics in modern time. Why Newton laws are important and what are these laws? Today we'll answer all these questions then. Now Newton's three laws of motion help us to understand about the motion and as well as how an object moves in the space. So it helps us understand all about these concepts. First we're gonna learn about the first law of motion. This law of motion was states the about law of inertia. So what do you mean by inertia? Inertia basically means that any object, let it be any object, let it be any object, when it is moving, when it is in motion, there it always gives resistance. What does it do? It resists, means it doesn't stop itself from going in motion. There basically it tries to be in motion all the time. That is only law of inertia. Now for example, if you take any object there, if any object, if it is moving there, it will always moving. Now for example, a moving bus doesn't stop immediately when brakes are applied. If you want to stop any object there, you have to add external forces. Okay, now example, if you want to push some very hard rock there, okay, if you want to push that rock, automatically it will never move. If it is at rest, it will always be at rest there. But if you want to move an object which is at rest, then you have to push it, or external force. So when you push that, that is, we call it as the external force there. Understood? So first we have the inertia of rest there. So if any object, if it is at rest, now example, take a rock there. If it is at rest, it will be at rest. It will not move there. It will not move. If you want it to move, you have to push it. What you have to do? Push it. Or you have to apply external force. You have to push it or you have to move it. So something you have to do. But automatically it will never move. That is only the inertia of rest there. Next we're gonna go for inertia of motion. What do you mean by inertia of motion? It means that if any object, if it is in motion, if it is already moving, it will not stop. Means it will not stop there. It will resist stopping. It will never stop there. Now for example, if you take any bus there, if you have a bus there, if it is moving, and if you want to stop this bus, you have to apply brakes. What we do, we apply here brakes there, okay. But when you apply brakes, in just a second it will not stop. Any object, if it is moving, it will not immediately stop. It will take some time to stop it, right? Now example, if you are on your cycle there, okay, if you are on your cycle sitting here, okay, when you move that cycle, it will move there, okay. When you want, if you apply brakes there, now if you apply brakes somewhere here, the bicycle will stop some little far, so it will take time for even the object to stop there. So basically it means that whenever an object it is moving there, it will always move. If you want to stop it, again what you have to do, you have to apply external forces to stop that. Now in inertia of rest, what we learned that object will be at rest, but if you put extra forces, then only it will move. So when, if it is already in motion, if you want to stop it, again you have to put external force there. Next we have is inertia of direction. If any object, now imagine there is an object with me and this object is moving at a specific direction there, so it will be always in that direction. If you want to change that object's direction there, you have to add extra forces. Imagine imagine a straight road and an object is moving there. So a car is moving, so it will always move on the straight road. It will not curve. It will not move in a circular path, because it is because of the inertia of direction. If any object is there, it will always move straight there. Understood here? Yeah, in a specific direction. Basically, if you want to change the object's direction, imagine I want to go right side, then you have to apply brakes. You have to add extra forces. What you have to add? Extra forces. So that is only basically the first law states that any object, it has always inertia there. Means whenever it is in motion, even rest is also some sort of motion only, right? So whenever object is in some sort of motion, if you want to change the motion, you can say you have to add external force there. Unless it will not change. Object at rest, it will always be at rest unless you add extra forces. Object, if it is already moving, it will always move unless you add extra forces to make it stop. If object is moving in a specific direction, if you want to change the direction, again you have to add external forces. So that is only basically your law of inertia. Understood? Clear? So next we'll go for the second law of motion, that is your force and acceleration. Force and acceleration. What do you mean by force here? We already know that force is basically push or pull of an object. So when you push something, when you pull something, that is only we call it as force there, right? Now how this force is created? Now every object has mass in it. What we have? We have mass. Mass means how much weight it has. Okay, that is only we call it as mass there, basically in simple words. So any object has mass. Okay, so when you move some object, you can say if you move some mass there, okay, that is only we call it as force there. So if you are moving the mass easily, then you are applying high force. But if the object is not moving, then you are applying low force. Understood here? Yeah. So Newton says that force is basically is equals to mass into acceleration. What do you mean by acceleration? Acceleration is basically change in the speed there. Now example, you are moving at 10 km per hour. Okay, suddenly you rose to 20 km per hour. Again you came back to 5 km per hour. So here what is happening? The speed is changing. That speed change only we call it as acceleration. Or the formula for acceleration is change in velocity. Velocity basically means speed with specific direction divided by time. Change in velocity divided by time there. Understood here? Yeah. So force is basically what? Force is basically when you accelerate some mass, means when you move some mass there, that is only we call it as force. The product of mass and that acceleration only we call it as force there. Understood here? Yeah. Now for example, if you have a mass of 5 kg and if you are accelerating it in like 3 meter per second, tell me what is the force that you are applying. Tell me what is the force. You calculate, so you'll get the idea there. Understood? Yeah. So this law explains that how motion changes when force applied. Now force causes acceleration. Now if any object, if it wants to move there, you need to add force. That is what we learned in the first rule there, first law. If there is no force, means there is no motion. So that is what basic idea here. Mass resists acceleration there. Okay, and heavy object, you can say any heavy object you have, example big stones you have, okay, iron you have, okay, some heavy objects you can say, it accelerate less. Now take a very big iron object, can you move it easily? Obviously not. If you have very big object, heavy object, if you take any machine, you take your car itself, can you move your car easily by pushing it? Obviously not. But when it compares to light objects like feather, you take your plastic items there, okay, you can easily move them because they have less mass in them. Understood here? Yeah, that is what Newton said there. Clear? Yeah. Next we have is your momentum. What do you mean by momentum? Momentum is basically mass into velocity. That means already if object is moving and you are adding more velocity for it, that is only we call it as momentum. Understood? Clear? Yeah. So next, third law we're gonna go, that is your action and reaction there. So according to this, every action have an equal or opposite reaction there. Means what this force tells us that force always occurs in pairs there. Means if you want to apply force, okay, as a result you'll get one more force there. Action and reaction, you can say it can cause equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, and act on different objects. Understood here? Yeah. So basically force, it doesn't cancel each other because they act on different bodies there. Understood? Yeah. So basically this is all or the three laws of motion. First says that why object doesn't change unless you apply external force there. Now keep an object, will it move easily? No. If you apply force, if you do something with that object, then only it will move. So that is what first law says. That is your law of inertia. That is only we call it as inertia. Every object in the universe is at inertia. Next, second law tells how motion changes here. If you want to change the motion, what you have to apply force. How to apply force? Mass into acceleration. That is what we learned. Third law says that how force interact there. Understood here? Yeah. So basically that much in this chapter. Thank you.